This is Mike Winger here with Judd Saul, giving you guys an extremely important, urgent, time-sensitive update on Nigeria and the persecution of Christians that has been going on there. This is going to be detailed. There's stuff that some of you guys know. There's stuff that you guys definitely don't know. Judd is the guy who's on the ground. He's been say hey, Judd, so they can see you.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
There
Good
he
to
is.
see you all.
Yeah, so he's the guy on the ground. They've been working for years with the persecuted church. There's so many rumors going around. The Nigerian government is making claims. There's all of a sudden all these accounts online that are saying there's no persecution in Nigeria. There's a lot of confusion. We anticipated this. That's why we did the previous video with you the way that we did. And I think it was pretty successful. But first update, if you don't mind jumping right into this one, Judd, is can you tell us about these 300 students, children, that were just kidnapped?
Yes. So just in the last 7 days, Mike, 300 kids were abducted from a school. 50 Christians were abducted from a Catholic school on top of this. The priest was shot. There was 3 people killed in that. There was an entire church of people that was abducted of 38, 5 people killed in that attack. And several other kidnappings have occurred. So we estimate that there's over 500 kidnappings of Christians that have occurred in the last 7 days. And one of the kidnappings that occurred, magically 38 people were rescued or released. But the problem is yes, we're happy they've been released, but no terrorists or kidnappers were brought to justice. And our investigations have determined that the Nigerian government paid the ransom to get these people back, just to make things better for their PR. This is a very rare occurrence where the Nigerian government's paying ransom to the kidnappers to get people back, but this only incentivizes more kidnappings. And so what we're seeing is a major increase of the kidnapping of Christians happening right now.
This is in the middle of the night. A group, I read your guys' article on this. A group of like 60 guys on motorcycles. You even mentioned how they go in motorcycle gangs. They get a bunch of weapons. They come upon a Catholic school. They go in there and they grab the kids. 300 of them. They have a few staff members as well, and they kidnap them in the middle of the night. Let me ask you if you can explain this. What is the treatment of those who were kidnapped? What happens to them? 12-year-old girl is kidnapped by this kind of group. What does she experience next?
Immediately what happens is once they get them into a location that's remote, hard to get to. And here's the other question is, how do people mass kidnap 3 people at once without any police or military intervention? There's witnesses, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So this happens, sadly to say frequently, but there's no response. There's no police chasing after them. There's no intervention. But what happens to these kids and the people that are kidnapped are, first, they get them all in one big group and they figure out if the kids know cell phone numbers or certain information about their family that they can start begging for ransom. And what they'll do is they'll get them on the phone and they'll start whipping the children and they'll start whipping the people, crying as loud, get them to cry and scream as loud as they can on the phone to pay the ransom. And these kids are tortured and they are not fed. They are not fed well at all. Now imagine already impoverished kidnappers. You think they're going to feed 300 people? Many of these kids are going to starve. If they don't pay up the ransom soon, many of these kids are going to starve. And this is what happens to kidnapped victims. And this sadly is a common occurrence in Nigeria.
And this is, I read your article on this on truthnigeria.com, where they have a bunch of articles that they're trying to do. They do terror alerts to try to warn villages and places that are currently like bad guys are on their way there. So they try to do like last minute alerts and stuff. But I read on the article that this was the largest kidnapping of children. And I was wondering like since when? And it says since the last one in like March of last year, where over 200 kids were kidnapped.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that, there's no persecution of Christians. I could not imagine in the U.S. 300 kids at a Christian complex being stolen in the middle of the night, beaten while their parents are called to get ransom money, starved, killed, who knows what else. And then the last one, when it was 200, it was weeks before the government finally went in and got him out.
Correct.
Like, and it would be like hours in the US. This would be hours. It would be number one priority, the thing everybody in the nation is worried about, and everyone goes against it as quick as they can.
The weight of the entire federal government would be on this.
Yes.
The way the entire federal government would be on this, and every citizen in America would be on this. They'd be vigilant. They'd be investigating. We'd have internet sleuths trying to get anything they could find to try to bring these bring these kidnappers to justice and free the children. What happens in Nigeria? Oh, another kidnapping. No government response. This is what Christians are dealing with. And then the Nigerian government today, Mike, had the gall to come out and say, we're cooperating with the U.S. and there's no Christian persecution going on. There's no genocide. It's just Muslims and Christians getting killed. Yes, there's a terror problem, but it's not against Christians. What you don't see is an entire mosque full of people getting kidnapped. You don't see Muslim schools being raided and the Muslim children being kidnapped. This only happens to Christians in Nigeria.
Right. It's clear to us what's going on here. And the thing is that social media has made it possible to draw awareness to this in a way that never would have been possible, or at least would have been extremely difficult in the past. So now you've got context on the ground. Let's talk about Pastor Ezekiel real quick, because here's a pastor who is really brave. He's putting himself out there. He put a video out that went all over the place where he was standing in an open grave with dead bodies around him, Christians who've been murdered in persecution. And he was standing in the open grave crying out for the government to help, crying out for America to help, crying out for anybody to help. And he was trying to draw awareness to this. Now, after this, he continues making videos. You know, he's getting more press. People are finding out more about him. And it's really compelling to see like an actual pastor right there standing there amidst the slaughter saying, this is real, help us. Because the Nigerian government wants to say it's not real. It's just internal disputes about land. It's about climate change and other stuff that's not really honest about what's happening here. Yeah, there's shepherds and there's farmers, but don't pretend that the issue is that some shepherd and some farm. That's not the issue.
Right.
And so Ezekiel, he has just had the Nigerian government pull his social media stuff down and remove his Facebook videos, citing him as a national threat.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
So I just spoke with Pastor Ezekiel the other day. Facebook, in cooperation with the Nigerian government, took down his entire Facebook page. In fact, they are going after videos of him that are in it, and they're starting to ban those videos. That famous one of him standing amongst all the dead bodies, that is being taken down from Facebook right now. And he tried coming back with an Instagram yesterday, and they shut down his Instagram. They deleted the account. And it wasn't even set up by him. It was actually set up by an American, and Facebook shut down that account of Pastor Ezekiel.
So Facebook shut down an American account.
Yes.
Meta, right? The company that owns Facebook and Instagram. They shut down an American account because it had stuff that the Nigerian government didn't like.
Correct, because it was promoting Pastor Ezekiel, and they shut that down this morning.
I thought they were getting better on this, some of this stuff.
I thought Zuckerberg turned over a new leaf. I guess not. But so Zuckerberg and Facebook are complicit in silencing Christians, and they are complicit in the persecution of Christians in Nigeria by doing this. And Nigeria's accusation against Pastor Ezekiel is that it's a threat to national security. Pastor Ezekiel's a threat to national security. Forget about the hundreds of thousands of terrorists running around with AK-47s killing people. Pastor Ezekiel crying out, asking for help is a threat to security, according to the Nigerian government.
Right. Not the kidnapping of 300 children.
No.
That's not the emergency. What marshal all of our resources. Let's network with social media, and how do we find these guys and deal with it within the next 2 hours. Let's get our military over there. Let's kill the men who kidnap these kids. Let's get these kids back to their parents. Let's send a loud message that anybody terrorist who does this will die. They will die. Like, that has to be everybody. They have to know this, right? But no, what we really need to do is we have to get this pastor's Facebook removed so he can't talk about it. So is there a freedom of speech in Nigeria? Is that a thing?
Nigeria says there's freedom of speech, but it doesn't exist. The Islamic regime that has taken control of Nigeria has gotten rid of freedom of speech, and they control the speech. Islam controls the speech in Nigeria. If you speak bad against Islamic terrorists, if you speak bad against Islam, you're the one that's going to get in trouble.
So what are the mechanisms they use to control this freedom of speech? Because obviously, one, this is extreme. The government itself is working to remove this pastor's ability to speak publicly. He is calling for like, hey, Trump, help us, somebody help us, help us, help us.
Yeah.
If that's I don't see how that's a threat to national security to ask for help for when you're literally being murdered and slaughtered. That makes little sense. You know, most countries in the world understand the idea of trying to care for those who are refugees from different countries and who are in deep need. This is about covering up and doing PR. That's what this is. He's bad for our government PR. We want to hide what's really happening, so we need to shut him up.
Well, that's exactly what's happening. And, you know, the U.S. government just met with Nigeria's national security advisor, who's also a radical Islamic Fulani, that is completely laying cover for all the terrorists in his tribe and in his country. This is the same guy that I guarantee this is the guy that pulled the trigger on getting Ezekiel DeComo removed from Facebook. We have a lot of trouble happening, and especially if the U.S. government thinks they can negotiate with a guy like Rabadu, the national security advisor, who also, by the way, is the same guy that orders the Nigerian military and police to stand down during terror attacks. And I guarantee you, the U.S. government just met with the same guy that told people to stand down during these kidnappings. And it's the same guy that is ordering the military not to go after the kidnappers. That's who the U.S. has been talking to and think they can negotiate with.
Right. And I think a lot of U.S. leaders are just not equipped to deal with actual terrorists and this kind of thing, because they're just, I don't know, it just seems like there's some inability in many cases to see things for what they really are. So let's talk about action steps. Are there any action steps? We haven't discussed ahead of time, but are there any things that people could do who are watching this right now to make a difference?
Still encourage people to support our organization at equippingthepersecuted.org. That's equippingthepersecuted.org. Partner with us. Like I said, you know, the more we have, the more we're able to impact, the more people we're willing to help. And we're seeing this play out right now over the last 4 weeks. It has been crazy and a blessing to see the impact that it's having and how many lives we're able to affect and touch on a much wider scale, on a much more frequent scale. And Mike, I'll be sending you some videos. You can post some stuff up later, just some highlights about what's been going on, so you can see it with your own eyes. And hopefully someday we can bring you to Nigeria. That's what I hope we can get to happen sometime. But equippingthepersecuted.org. And also, please don't let up on your politicians. The job is not over. And I'm going to tell you guys, there are enemies within our own government working against us. There are enemies within our own government that are working against us, including a couple of guys in the Trump administration that are working against our efforts. And we need you to be in prayer, but we also need you to be messaging the president, messaging your congressmen and your senators, and tell them to not let up on Nigeria until this is done. And if 500 Christians kidnapped in the last week isn't enough motivation, I don't know what will be. But the persecution is real and something needs to be done now. So equippingthepersecuted.org, please continue to support us. We love partnering with you. Join our family. Love hearing from you. Share with us in your notes. What motivated you to give to the mission? Where would you like some of your donations to go? Let us know. We're an open book and we love to hear from you, but don't let up. Continue the pressure, please.
So congress.gov is a website you can go to where you then scroll down, you input your location, and it will show you your senators. You can click and email them, even one sentence email. Don't stop helping the persecuted Christians in Nigeria. Don't believe the lies that this is not real persecution. The question I have for you right now, and it's up to you whether you want to answer it or not. I don't really know the dynamics of it, but you talk about specific evil people. Do you want to name them? Do you want to tell us more about them?
One of the guys, Masad Bulus, he's a guy that has come out and said that there's no genocide against Christians in Nigeria. And he is Trump's in-law. He's Tiffany Trump's father-in-law.
So we addressed him and we actually showed a video of him.
Yeah.
Has anything changed since we did that video?
We haven't seen a tone change from him yet.
Do you know if since then has he come out and like made another statement in some form or another that talks about Nigeria at all?
Nope, hasn't made one statement, hasn't come out and said one statement since. But we do know that there are forces within the Trump administration and even within our own State Department that are fighting us on this.
Yeah.
So we're praying that the bad people get removed and replaced with good people. There is a deep state. And believe me, I have seen the deep state. There is a deep state working against us. And they need to be sought out. They need to be removed from their positions. And we need.
You want to tell us more about that, or is that something that's not appropriate?
I can't get into further detail. I wish I could, but I can't.
Yeah, I understand.
But I will say this.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think that light disinfects, and I hope that truth comes out about these types of issues more. People need to know the details in order for them to deal with these things, you know. But at the same time, it can be challenging to be like, when can I say this and what can I say? And I don't know. There's questions that are difficult to answer and that a lot of people don't understand. Yeah.
We need a new ambassador to Nigeria. We need to get rid of Ambassador Mills. Ambassador Mills is not our friend. He's not, he really doesn't care about what's going on in Nigeria. And like I said, the first picture Ambassador Mills had when Trump got elected, Ambassador Mills was meeting with the Mieti Allah, which is the cattle breeders association in Nigeria. Essentially, they're the terrorist planning center operations. And our ambassador took a picture with them and got a big smile, shaking hands. We're working together to, help each other out. And Ambassador Mills is not our friend. Ambassador Mills needs to be replaced immediately. We need a new ambassador to Nigeria that has, I'd say, a Trump vision for Nigeria and maybe a caring vision for Nigeria.
How would that happen? Like, so is this where writing to your senator would encourage that? Like, hey, Ambassador Mills is not serving the interest of Nigeria or the U.S. He needs to be replaced. Would that be the kind of thing?
So what happens is Ambassador Mills is a career FSO, which is a foreign service officer. These guys are bureaucratic State Department people. They've been in the State Department for years, and they just go to one other country, work their notch on the belt. They're government bureaucratic employees. What we need in Nigeria is a Trump-appointed ambassador to Nigeria. Somebody that is a political appointee that is going to carry the Trump agenda to Nigeria. Okay. What we don't want is another career FSO, that got elevated during the Biden years. We need a political appointee to Nigeria, and if so be it, I volunteer myself to be the ambassador to Nigeria. If you want to nominate me, I'd be happy to do it. I don't know if I'd pass the test to be ambassador, but we need a good, strong leader Christian who's an ambassador to Nigeria.
Right. Wow. All right. Well,
I nominate Mike Winger for ambassador to Nigeria. I nominate Mike.
I don't know if I have the skill set for that, but anything would be better than the guy that's doing it now, it sounds like. And yes. You guys can go to congress.gov. You can message your senators and tell them to get rid of Mills and recommend exactly what you were suggesting: a strong Trump-appointed ambassador to Nigeria, who is not just a Biden-style career politician, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so Judd, last question for you. Pastor Ezekiel, this guy obviously is under the scope of the Nigerian government. They're specifically they pulled his stuff off the internet. They shut down his social media. They're actively working to silence this man. This is because they think that he's being effective, right?
Yes.
So you talked to him not long ago. You said you just had a video call with him. And how is he doing?
Well, he's a tough cookie. He's more motivated than ever, and this isn't going to stop him. It's not going to slow him down, but he knows he's over the target. He knows where he's at, and he's not going to let up, and he's going to be relentless. And then I told him, I was like, well, you probably should move to X, do more on YouTube, forget Facebook stuff, because I don't think Elon's going to take his stuff down, but we need to be, once he has videos come out, I'm going to be sharing them wherever I can to get him out there. but he's encouraged, but he's also very, very, very scared. This guy is, he's not afraid to die, but he is now being very, very cautious. He's in hiding.
Mm-hmm.
He's in hiding. He'll find something. He'll find, like, go help people at a mass burial, go be a blessing to the community, then go disappear into an unknown location. They are after him, and he's very well aware of it, but he's ready to die for his faith and to stand up for what's right and what's true. And we could all learn from Pastor Ezekiel.
Yeah. Yeah. That's bravery. We don't have many opportunities for bravery in our culture, and the ones we do have mostly have to do with speaking truth out loud, and we're not that good at it.
No. We could do a lot better.
Yeah. So thank you for that, and God bless Ezekiel. God bless all the people. Oh my gosh, there's so many people that are suffering right now. There's currently, as we speak, those kids are still kidnapped.